Welcome back, coin lovers and treasure hunters. Today, we're diving into one of the most fascinating and widely circulated coins in American history, the 1965 United States quarter dollar. At first glance, this may seem like just another common quarter, but don't be fooled. Some rare variations and mint errors have made certain 1965 quarters worth an absolute fortune. If you have one of these special coins, you could be holding a life-changing amount of money in your hands. So, stay with us until the end as we reveal just how valuable this coin can be. Let's start with a little history behind the 1965 quarter and why this year was a turning point in U.S. coinage. The Washington quarter was first introduced in 1932 to honor the 200th birthday of George Washington, and its design, created by John Flanagan, quickly became an iconic part of American currency. However, 1965 marked a major change in how quarters were made. Before this year, quarters were composed of 90% silver and 10% copper, making them valuable not just for their face value, but also for their silver content. However, by the early 1960s, silver prices were skyrocketing, and people began hoarding silver coins, leading to a nationwide coin shortage. In response, the U.S. Mint made a dramatic decision. Starting in 1965, quarters were no longer made of silver. Instead, they were struck in a new copper-nickel clad composition, with a pure copper core sandwiched between layers of nickel. This new material helped keep coins in circulation, but it also meant that the last silver quarters, especially any mistakes from the transition, became extremely valuable. Now, let's take a closer look at the design of the 1965 quarter. On the obverse, front, side, we see the classic portrait of George Washington facing left. Above his head, you'll find the word Liberty, and to the left of his profile, the phrase, "In God We Trust," is inscribed. Below, the year 1965 is prominently displayed. On the reverse, back, side, we see the powerful bald eagle, one of the most enduring symbols of American strength and freedom. The eagle is standing on a bundle of arrows, representing military preparedness, and below it, an olive branch symbolizes peace. The words United States of America and E pluribus unum are placed above, while quarter dollar is inscribed at the bottom. Now, the big question: what makes some 1965 quarters worth so much money? There are several factors that can turn an ordinary 1965 quarter into an extremely valuable collector's item. First, the rarest and most valuable 1965 quarters are those that were accidentally struck on a silver planchet. These coins were supposed to be phased out in 1964, but a few were mistakenly produced in 1965 using leftover silver blanks. If you find a 1965 quarter that looks shinier and more metallic than others, it could be one of these rare silver errors. How do you check? An easy test is to weigh your coin. A normal 1965 clad quarter should weigh 5.67 grams, while a silver quarter weighs 6.25 grams. If your coin is heavier, you might have an ultra-rare silver 1965 quarter. Another highly collectible variety is the 1965 double die quarter. This happens when the coin's design is struck twice slightly misaligned, causing a doubled appearance in letters or numbers. If you notice doubling in Liberty or In God We Trust, you might be holding a valuable error coin. Additionally, off-center strikes and broad strike errors, where the design is misaligned or missing its outer rim, are also highly sought after. Lastly, collectors are always searching for high-grade, uncirculated quarters. If a 1965 quarter is in perfect condition with no scratches or signs of wear, it can receive a high grade from professional coin grading services like PCGS or NGC. Coins graded MS-67 or higher are especially rare and can fetch premium prices at auctions. Now, the moment you've been waiting for: how much can a rare 1965 quarter be worth? While most 1965 quarters are only worth face value, certain rare error coins, silver planchet mistakes, and high-grade specimens have been known to sell for an astonishing $87,000. That's right. A single quarter from 1965 could be worth a small fortune, so don't overlook that spare change in your pocket or old coin collection. Take a closer look. You might be holding a treasure without even realizing it. Today, we are diving deep into a United States quarter that might just be worth a fortune, the 1973 Washington quarter. Now, you might be thinking, it's just a regular quarter, right? Well, think again. Some rare versions of this coin have been sold for thousands of dollars, and if you have one lying around, you could be in for a big surprise. In this video, we'll explore what makes the 1973 quarter special, the rare errors and varieties that could make it extremely valuable, and of course, we'll reveal an astounding auction price for one of these rare coins. So, stay tuned, because you won't want to miss this. The history of the 1973 quarter. The Washington quarter has been a staple of American currency since 1932, originally designed by sculptor John Flanagan to commemorate the 200th birthday of George Washington. By the time 1973 came around, the quarter was already an iconic part of U.S. coinage. However, in 1973, the U.S. Mint did not produce any silver quarters for circulation. Instead, they were made from a copper-nickel-clad composition. But don't let that fool you. Certain rare varieties and errors can make some 1973 quarters extremely valuable. Mint marks. And where the 1973 quarter was made. The 1973 Washington quarter was minted in 3 different locations, and each has a different mint mark. Philadelphia Mint, no mint mark. These were struck in large numbers and do not carry a mint mark. Denver Mint, D mint mark. Coins from the Denver Mint have a small d under the date. San Francisco Mint, S mint mark. Proof coins, the proof versions were struck with special care and have a sharp, mirror-like finish. Most regular 1973 quarters are common, but some rare error coins and high-grade examples can sell for an incredible price at auctions. What makes the 1973 quarter valuable? So, what should you be looking for in a 1973 quarter that could make it worth thousands of dollars? Let's explore some of the key rare errors and varieties. Point 1. 1973 quarter with a double die obverse, DDO. A double die obverse, DDO, happens when the coin's design is struck twice slightly misaligned, causing noticeable doubling on the letters and numbers. Carefully examine Liberty, In God We Trust, and the date, 1973, for signs of doubling. The more noticeable the doubling, the higher the coin's value. Some DDO 1973 quarters have been sold for thousands of dollars, too. 1973 quarter struck on the wrong planchet. A wrong planchet error occurs when a quarter is mistakenly struck on a coin blank meant for another denomination. Some 1973 quarters were struck on nickel or dime planchets, making them smaller and lighter than normal. If your quarter seems too light, too small, or has unusual colors, you might have a valuable error coin. 3. 1973 off-center strike quarter. An off-center strike occurs when the coin is not properly aligned during the minting process, causing part of the design to be missing. If the coin is struck 10% to 50% off-center, it could be highly valuable. The more dramatic the error, the higher the value. Point 4. 1973 quarter with a missing clad layer. Some 1973 quarters were struck without their outer nickel layer, exposing the copper core underneath. These coins appear reddish or copper-toned on one or both sides. If you find one in good condition, it could be worth hundreds or even thousands of dollars. 5. 1973 proof quarter with a minting defect. Proof quarters were made with extra care for collectors, but even these special coins sometimes have errors. Some 1973 S proof quarters have a filled S mint mark, meaning the S appears blurry or partially filled. These defective proof quarters can be highly collectible and valuable. How much is a 1973 quarter worth? The value of a 1973 quarter depends on its condition, mint mark, and whether it has any errors. Regular circulated 1973 quarters, most are only worth face value, 25 cents, to a few dollars. High-grade 1973 quarters, MS65 or higher, if your quarter is in uncirculated condition, it could be worth $50 to $500. Rare mint errors, DDO, off-center, missing clad, or wrong planchet. These error coins can fetch hundreds to thousands of dollars, depending on their rarity. But now, for the most exciting part, the most valuable 1973 quarter ever sold. One of these rare 1973 Washington quarters was sold for an astonishing $33,000. Yes, you heard that right, $33,000 for a single quarter. Final thoughts: check your pocket change. the 1973 Washington quarter is proof that valuable coins can still be found in everyday change. Whether it's a rare mint error, an off-center strike, or a missing clad layer, these coins have the potential to be worth a fortune. So, before you spend your 1973 quarters, take a closer look. You might just be holding a small fortune in your hands. We are diving deep into the world of the 1981 United States quarter dollar, a coin that might just be lying unnoticed in your collection or even in your pocket change. But don't be fooled. Some rare versions of this coin have been sold for an incredible amount of money at auctions. What makes the 1981 quarter so special? What rare errors should you be looking for? And just how much could one of these coins be worth? Stay tuned because by the end of this video, you won't believe how much a single 1981 quarter could fetch in the collector's market. The story behind the 1981 quarter. The 1981 Washington quarter is part of a long-running series first introduced in 1932, featuring a design by sculptor John Flanagan. This coin was minted during a time when quarters had already transitioned away from silver, meaning that 1981 quarters are made of a copper-nickel clad composition. However, even though these quarters were produced in large numbers, certain rare errors and high-grade specimens can be worth thousands of dollars. During 1981, the U.S. Mint produced quarters at 3 different mint locations: Philadelphia Mint, No Mintmark; Denver Mint, D Mintmark; San Francisco Mint, S Mintmark. Proof coins. While most 1981 quarters are common, certain rare error coins and high-grade specimens can make collectors pay an astonishing amount of money for them. The unique features of the 1981 quarter. Obverse, front side, features the classic portrait of George Washington, which has been on the quarter since 1932. The word "Liberty" is inscribed above Washington's head. Below his chin, you'll find, "In God We Trust." The year 1981 is displayed at the bottom. Reverse, back side, the majestic bald eagle spreads its wings, clutching arrows in its talons. Below the eagle, 2 olive branches symbolize peace. The words, United States of America, are inscribed along the top. Just below it, you'll see, E pluribus unum. The denomination, quarter dollar, is displayed at the bottom. Now that we know the basics, let's move on to the most exciting part, the rare errors and valuable versions of the 1981 quarter that could be worth thousands. Rare 1981 quarter errors that can make you rich. 1. 1981 quarter with a double die obverse, DDO. A double die obverse, DDO, error occurs when the coin's design is stamped twice, creating a doubling effect on letters and numbers. Look closely at "Liberty, in God We Trust," and the date, 1981, for any noticeable doubling. The stronger and more visible the doubling, the higher the coin's value. Some 1981 DDO quarters have sold for thousands of dollars. 2. 1981 off-center strike quarter. An off-center strike occurs when the coin isn't properly aligned during minting, causing part of the design to be missing. If the coin is struck 10% to 50% off-center and still shows the date, it could be highly valuable. The more dramatic the off-center error, the more it could be worth. 3. 1981 quarter with a missing clad layer. Some 1981 quarters were struck without their outer nickel layer, exposing the copper core underneath. These coins appear reddish or copper-toned on one or both sides. If you find one in good condition, it could be worth hundreds or even thousands of dollars. 4. 1981 quarter struck on a wrong planchet. A wrong planchet error happens when a quarter is struck on a coin blank meant for another denomination. Some 1981 quarters were mistakenly struck on dime planchets, making them smaller and lighter than normal. If you find a quarter that seems too light or too small, you could be holding a valuable error coin. 5. 1981 proof quarter with a minting defect. Proof coins are specially made for collectors, but even they can have rare minting defects. Some 1981 S proof quarters have an error known as a filled S mintmark, where the S appears blurry or partially filled. These defective proof quarters are highly sought after by collectors. How much is a 1981 quarter worth? The value of a 1981 quarter depends on its condition, mintmark, and whether it has any errors. Regular circulated 1981 quarters, most are only worth face value, 25 cents, to a few dollars. High-grade 1981 quarters, MS 65 or higher, if your quarter is in uncirculated condition, it could be worth $50 to $500. Rare mint errors, DDO, off-center, missing clad, or wrong planchet. These error coins can fetch hundreds to thousands of dollars, depending on their rarity. But now, for the most exciting part, the most valuable 1981 quarter ever sold. One of these rare 1981 Washington quarters was sold for an astonishing $53,000. Yes, you heard that right, $53,000 for a single quarter. Final thoughts: check your spare change. The 1981 Washington quarter proves that valuable coins can still be found in everyday change. Whether it's a rare mint error, an off-center strike, or a missing clad layer, these coins have the potential to be worth a fortune. So, before you spend your 1981 quarters, take a closer look. You might just be holding a small fortune in your hands. We're exploring the 1986 United States quarter dollar, a coin that may seem ordinary at first glance but could actually be worth a small fortune. Yes, you heard that right. Some rare 1986 quarters have sold for incredible amounts, and today, we'll uncover what makes these coins so special. We'll discuss the history, unique features, mint errors, and, of course, the highest price ever recorded for this coin. Stay with us till the end, because you won't believe just how much one of these rare quarters was sold for. The history behind the 1986 Washington quarter. The Washington quarter has been a staple of American currency since 1932, when it was first introduced to commemorate the 200th birthday of George Washington. Designed by sculptor John Flanagan, the Washington quarter quickly became one of the most recognizable and widely circulated coins in the United States. By 1986, this quarter had already been in circulation for over 5 decades, and while most of these coins were used for everyday transactions, a few rare specimens have become highly valuable collectibles over the years. But what makes the 1986 quarter so special? The answer lies in its mint varieties, rare errors, and high-grade conditions. Design and features of the 1986 quarter. To understand why some 1986 quarters are worth big money, let's take a closer look at their design and key features. Front side, obverse. The front of the coin features a left-facing portrait of George Washington. Above Washington's head is the phrase, Liberty. To the left, you'll find the year, 1986. The phrase, In God We Trust, is inscribed on the lower left side. If the coin was minted in Denver, D, or Philadelphia, P, a small mint mark appears just below the phrase, In God We Trust. Back side, reverse. The reverse side features the majestic American bald eagle, with wings spread wide. The eagle is perched on a bundle of arrows, symbolizing strength and preparedness. Below the eagle, you'll see 2 olive branches, representing peace. The words, United States of America, are inscribed at the top. The phrase, E pluribus unum, is displayed below that. The denomination, quarter dollar, is inscribed at the bottom. Where was the 1986 quarter minted? The 1986 Washington quarter was produced at 3 major U.S. mint locations. 1. Philadelphia Mint, P mint mark, the most common version, marked with a small p. 2. Denver Mint, D mint mark, features a small d mint mark. 3. San Francisco Mint, S mint mark. This version was produced as a proof coin and is much rarer. Rare varieties and mint errors that can make a 1986 quarter extremely valuable. Not all 1986 quarters are worth a fortune, but certain rare varieties and minting errors can make some of them extremely valuable. Let's explore a few of the most sought-after types. 1. 1986 Double Die Obverse, DDO, Quarter. A double die obverse, DDO, occurs when the coin's design is accidentally stamped twice, creating a noticeable doubling effect on the letters or numbers. Look for doubling in Liberty, In God We Trust, or the date, 1986. The more prominent and clear the doubling, the higher the coin's value. Some of these rare error coins have been known to sell for thousands of dollars. 2. 1986 Off-Center Strike Quarter. An off-center strike happens when the coin is misaligned during the minting process, causing a portion of the design to be missing. If the off-center strike is 10% to 50% off but still shows the date, it can be highly valuable. Some off-center errors have sold for hundreds to thousands of dollars, depending on how dramatic the misalignment is. 3. 1986 Quarter with missing clad layer. Some 1986 quarters were struck with a missing clad layer, meaning the outer nickel layer wasn't fully applied, exposing the copper core underneath. These coins often appear darker or reddish in color due to the exposed copper. If you find one in great condition, it could be worth a significant amount to collectors. 4. 1986 S proof quarter with deep cameo finish. The San Francisco Mint S produced proof quarters with a special mirror-like finish. If your proof quarter has a deep cameo DCAM effect, meaning it has frosted designs and a mirror-like background, it could be worth a lot more than face value. The rarer and sharper the deep cameo contrast, the higher its price in auctions. How much is a 1986 quarter worth today? The value of a 1986 quarter depends on several factors, including its condition, rarity, and any mint errors. Regular circulated 1986 quarters. If your quarter has been in circulation, it's generally worth only face value, 25 cents, to a few dollars. High-grade uncirculated 1986 quarters. If your quarter is in pristine, uncirculated condition, it could be worth $50 to $500. Rare varieties and mint errors, DDO, off-center, or missing clad layer. These versions can sell for hundreds to thousands of dollars, depending on their rarity. And now, for the most valuable 1986 quarter ever sold. One of these rare varieties of the 1986 Washington quarter sold for an incredible $73,000. Yes, you heard that right, $73,000 for a single quarter. Final thoughts: check your spare change. The 1986 Washington quarter is a perfect example of why coin collecting can be so exciting. Whether it's a double die error, an off-center strike, or a missing clad layer, this coin has the potential to be worth a fortune. So, before you spend your quarters, take a closer look. You might just have a hidden treasure sitting in your collection. If you enjoyed this video and want to learn more about rare and valuable coins, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you never miss out on our next incredible discovery. Thanks for watching, and as always, happy coin hunting!